Today on the Chad Slagle Show, coaching you to and through retirement.
We are going to discuss the importance of planning ahead in order to be successful in retirement.
And on our Coach's Corner, we're going to share some shocking retirement statistics that you need to be aware of.
And on our Chalk Talk segment today, we're going to show you how to overcome each of the shocking retirement statistics so that you can have peace of mind in retirement.
So sit back, relax, and learn. The Chad Slagle Show starts now.
I'm Chad Slagle. I believe financial planning is about educating people and empowering them to make better decisions with their hard-earned dollars. Coaching gives me satisfaction from watching a player succeed and get better.
You need an experienced team around you. The best coaches have great assistant coaches. I have brought a lot of the techniques and structure I learned from playing and coaching football and apply them to the world of investing. My goal now is to coach as many individuals and families as I can on how to get successfully to and through retirement.
Welcome into the Chad Slagle Show, coaching you to and through retirement. I'm Wendy Erickson here with the coach, Chad Slagle. Today on the Clipboard segment, we want to discuss the importance of planning ahead in order to be successful in retirement.
That's right, Wendy. You know, after being in this business for over 26 years, the biggest mistake I still see today is people who come into our office and they do not have a plan. And I'll ask them a few questions about where they currently stand, what kind of game plan they have in place for retirement, and the majority of them say they really don't have any kind of plan at all for retirement. And if you think back to maybe 20, 25 years ago, that was okay. Why? Because 20 years ago, 80% of American workers had a pension. So you really didn't need to have to do much planning. You knew when you retired that you had a monthly income stream that was going to come in each and every month for the rest of your life, no matter how long you live and no matter how long your spouse lives, in the form of a pension, as well as, of course, Social Security. So you really just had to adjust your lifestyle to that income that you knew was going to come in each and every month. However, today, it is not okay to go through retirement without a plan, because today, less than 20% of American workers have a pension. And those of you that do, that are lucky enough to have a pension now, are being asked, do you want to take that in a lump sum instead of a monthly payout? So now the burden is all on your shoulders. So what we want to do today is we want to stress how important it is to plan ahead for retirement.
Well, I know it's important to plan ahead in a lot of things in life, like going on a family vacation. I got to make the lists and look at the weather, especially when I was packing for the family of 5. I once went on a trip and didn't have a suitcase for one of my children. No clothes whatsoever for that one child. So I'm very good now about planning ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to plan ahead no matter what you do.
Yeah, you don't want to learn things the hard way.
That's right.
Which is what I did.
And speaking of planning ahead, it helps with anything in life, of course, especially when we talk about retirement planning, because when you retire today, it's like having 25 to 35 years of unemployment. So what we want to talk about today are some shocking retirement statistics that you need to be aware of and how to protect yourself so these stats do not affect you. And of course, as Wendy talked about, make sure that you are prepared for retirement. You have to start preparing before you retire, not when you retire.
Yeah, that's a good thing we need to talk about, so that all of you folks at home have a good plan in place so that you can retire and enjoy your trip, otherwise known as retirement.
That's right, your journey. That's right.
Nice journey. Well, when we return on the Coach's Corner, we're going to share some of those shocking retirement statistics that you need to be aware of. We'll be right back.
The number one concern of retirees today is outliving their hard-earned dollars. It is more important now than ever to educate and empower yourself to make better decisions with your monies that it has taken you 30 to 40 years to accumulate. How do you do this? By using our Financial GPS, our guided planning system. This is a 4-step process to help get you successfully to and through retirement. The first step in this process is to create clarity. Here we will help identify your goals as well as your concerns and identify what you want to accomplish in retirement. The second step, we will analyze the risk you're taking with your current portfolio, and this step will also identify exactly what you are paying in fees. In the third step, we will evaluate and assess your current plan and help identify the gap between the missing pieces. And in the fourth and final step, this is where we will work together to implement a plan of action to accomplish your retirement goals. And this process can take place at any one of our convenient locations in Missouri and in Illinois. So call now to get set up on that right path on your journey through retirement.
Welcome back to the Chad Slagle Show, coaching you to and through retirement. We are back with the coach, Chad Slagle, and his colleague, Chad Tobin. And today on the Coach's Corner, we're going to share some shocking retirement statistics that you need to be aware of.
If you think about it, statistics play a large role in many different facets of life, whether it's for a job, education, sports, you name it. Statistics are everywhere in the medical field. Scientists use statistics to validate the rate of effectiveness before any drugs are prescribed. In insurance, whether it is medical, life, home, or any other types, companies use statistical models to calculate the risk of giving insurance. Now, think about the sports world. Think about all of the professional sports out there that show statistics, left and right. Of course, baseball, one of the most important stats out there, of course, is that batting average. And obviously, the higher the batting average, the better you are. And of course, in basketball, we have shooting percentage. 3-point percentage, free throw percentage is often something that we see. Needless to say, statistics are everywhere in this world. So we thought we'd bring up some eye-opening retirement statistics today that might just make you think twice about your hard-earned dollars, money that it's taken you 30 to 40 years to accumulate, Chad.
Well, and you know, Chad, I kind of listen to that and I think about you've done a lot of coaching back in the day with your kids. And, you know, a lot of times as a coach, you're kind of talking about to kids, but statistics never lie, do they? No. And so when you have statistics to back up some of the decisions, it just brings a lot of clarity to any kind of concept or topic. And today's going to do that as well.
Well, I wish these shocking statistics were in a good way, but some of them are in not so good.
Not so good way, but they're ones you need to learn from.
That's right. So let's start with the very first one.
So the first stat that we want to talk about, of course, is Social Security. And we've all heard about Social Security having problems when you may only get 25 to 30%. So the real stat out there is Social Security will be cut approximately 23% by 2033, according to the Social Security Administration. Think about that for a second. Only 77% of the scheduled benefits will be paid out in 2033. So in numbers, you know, let's say an individual today has $1,400 coming in each and every month from their Social Security, which equals $16,800 a year. If those benefits were cut by 23%, that same individual would only collect $1,078 each month, or $12,936 a year. So that's almost a $4,000 loss, or a $4,000 cutback in money that you need to live off of.
Well, and when I see this, I think, you know, of my grandparents and living on a monthly fixed income, and if they lose $300–400 a month, that's just such a huge part of their health insurance, their day-to-day living, the expenses that have to go out. And so we often talk, you can't depend on somebody else to take care of you, so you have to understand some of these statistics out there, especially with Social Security. All
right, well, there's more. Number two, what is that?
Number two, one of the ones that we don't think about, what we definitely need to, of course, is health care. $245,000 on health care throughout retirement is what a couple will spend. According to Fidelity Research, if you retired in 2015, both age 65, as a married couple, you will spend approximately $245,000 on health care through retirement. In 2014, to give you an idea of the numbers and how they've changed just in a few years, that amount was $220,000. Back in 2005, it was $190,000. So you can see the amount needed for health care costs is continuing to rise because of longer life expectancies and anticipated increases for medical and prescription expenses. And of course, health insurance premiums are going to continue to go up as well.
Yeah, and this is the one thing that if you don't plan for, this is the one thing that could really wipe out all of that retirement savings if we don't have a plan at the cost of health care, not to even mention long-term care and nursing homes.
That is quite a hit that we would be taking.
Yes, it is.
Okay, what about statistic number three?
Here's a big one that it doesn't matter if you're 20, 30, 40, or even in your 50s. Americans are leaving $24 billion in unclaimed 401k company match. In other words, they're not taking advantage of free money that their employer is trying to give them. So according to Financial Engines, Americans are leaving approximately $24 billion in unclaimed 401k company matches on the table each year. Think about that. This is a huge number of people not taking advantage of basically free money. In other words, Chad, if you're employer has a 401k or a company plan that will match whatever you put into it, say 3 to 6%. So many people today are not taking advantage of that. And if it's 3% or it's 6%, you want to make sure you're putting enough in to at least get that company match, because that's free money that your employer is willing to put into an account for your retirement.
Yeah, and a lot of people look at, making that contribution to their 401k as less money that they're going to be bringing home each and every month, which, is right. But at the same time, if you're not putting any money in, that employer is not going to match and give you that free money. And obviously, everybody likes anything that's free today. So
Right.
Free money from an employer, we definitely think should be taken advantage of.
Absolutely.
Take advantage of that. Okay, the next statistic has to do with the fact that those of us who think we know it all might not know it all when it comes to retirement.
Didn't you hate that in school when you had the know-it-all kid?
The know-it-all
right?
kid. It wasn't me.
That's right. So 87% of baby boomers got a D of the know-it-alls on the retirement quiz. According to a study from the American College of Financial Services, baby boomers are those who were born between 1944 and 1964. This means that you're currently now between the age of 55 and 75 years of age. And most baby boomers are retired or thinking about retiring in the near future, yet most of you do not know the information and basic strategies that you need to feel comfortable and confident in retirement. And one thing that we hear all the time, Chad, we sit down with somebody, well, I'm a diversified. Well, basically, once we break that down, once we do a riskalyze and really take a look at the risk, you're really not diversified. The majority of your money is all at risk. So it's about having an open mind, having that second opinion, and really stepping back and taking a look at your accounts and making sure they're set up properly before you retire. Once you do retire, it's not too late, but you definitely want to have that done as soon as possible.
Well, and at the end of the day, most of people coming into our office, they weren't doing financial planning, retirement planning for the last 20, 30 years. That was not their job. And, they were very, very good at what they did, whether they were an attorney, a doctor, a carpenter, whatever it may be. They were very good at what they did. However, they didn't do that every day, and so therefore, financial planning is very important to understand is different.
All right, and we've got one more.
Last stat, 56% of Americans lose sleep when they think about retirement. I can't tell you, Chad, how many times we talk to people, they're stressed out when they have to think about retirement. So according to Ramsey Solutions, about 56% of Americans lose sleep when they think about retirement. Why is this? Because they do not have a plan, or like we mentioned earlier, they are not planning ahead for retirement. And if you build a plan before you retire, it takes all that stress out of your life, knowing that, hey, when we retire, we're going to have an income stream that's going to last throughout the rest of our life. If something happens and we have to go to a nursing home, we have assets set aside to take care of that. If we pass away early, we know our money is going to be transferred to our children and our grandchildren in the most tax-efficient manner. But it's all about building that plan so you know all the unknowns are taken care of.
Well, and at the end of the day, it's peace of mind, and peace of mind is priceless. So, doing some proactive planning before retirement can get you that peace of mind when it's time to pull the trigger on retirement.
Yes, being informed is peace of mind as well, and we've got more information for you. So to download our free white paper today about why objective financial advice is important, visit slagelfinancial.com/empoweryou. Coming up on Chalk Talk, we're going to show you how to overcome each of those shocking retirement statistics so that you can have peace of mind in your retirement. Stay with us.
Let's go.
He's such an involved dad. He's always telling the kids stories. I remember when so-and-so said I couldn't do this or I didn't make this team. That's what drives him. In our family, we always tell our kids to stick up for each other, stand behind one another. He feels it's his role to provide, keep us safe, and to make sure that the kids are taken care of. A lot of Chad's clients have the same traditional values, and he bonds with them. Each family has a different set of circumstances, and each family is unique and different. The common thread between all of Chad's clients is that they want the best for their family, just as he would our own family.
Welcome back in, everyone, to the Chad Slagle Show, coaching you to and through retirement. So we just went over some shocking or eye-opening retirement statistics. Now we're going to show you how to overcome each one of those statistics so that you can have peace of mind in retirement.
Yes, we all want to have peace of mind in retirement, right? No one wants to stress in retirement or stress about retirement. You know, this is supposed to be the time in your life where you no longer have to punch a clock every day. If you want to get up every morning and have a cup of coffee and watch TV all morning, that's what you want to do. It's about enjoying life. And you've worked many years to get to this point so that you can one day, of course, call it quits. And the stat that we showed you in the Coach's Corner, or the stats, are an outcome of pre-retirees and pre-retirees not preparing or planning for retirement. And what we talk about here is when we get it, life is busy. But at some point, you need to build a plan for retirement because this is one of the biggest milestones of your life. So now on Chalk Talk, what we want to show you is how to overcome these statistics. And again, when you think about retirement, we all want to put it to the side. We all want to procrastinate. But you have to put yourself in an uncomfortable situation to get to a better place, Chad.
Yeah, and I think probably the one thing that we hear probably the most, and it's great to hear from our clients, is we don't know how we worked because we're so busy now in retirement, and they're able to enjoy and have that peace of mind. So it's so important, and it's great to hear that when it comes from retirees.
All right, so let's jump in. How to overcome the first statistic, which was Social Security will be cut approximately 23% by 2033.
That's right. First of all, Wendy, do not depend on Social Security to pay all of your bills or all of your income needs in retirement. According to the Social Security Administration, Social Security retirement benefits will replace only about 40% of your pre-retirement earnings. The percentage is lower for people in the upper income brackets and higher for people with lower income. So the bottom line is you need to have a written income plan, and Social Security is just a part of it. And a lot of people ask us, Chad, all the time, when should we draw Social Security? And really, you just want to keep it simple. If you need it, draw it. If you don't need it, do not draw it.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, a written retirement income plan, like you mentioned earlier, you know, we're living in a pensionless society. So a lot of retirees today, they need to know when they retire where that income is going to come from. So if you have some clarity, you have that plan built, that written income plan, you have peace of mind in retirement.
All right, so the second statistic was the fact that a couple will spend about $245,000 on health care throughout retirement. How do you overcome that?
Well, it's a big one that a lot of people don't plan for. And really what you want to do is you want to build a plan that incorporates both health care and long-term care expenses. So make sure you, of course, have that good Medicare supplement that covers everything that Medicare does not, so no medical bills for you. And then also make sure you're protected from long-term care, home health care, nursing home expenses. And a couple ways you could do that is you have to have a plan. So the plan could be you're going to pay for it out of your own pocket. Number two, go out and purchase long-term care insurance. Or number three, Chad, have a life insurance that will also cover long-term care benefits.
Yeah, and that third one is probably what we're seeing as one of the more popular choices for retirees today because, you know, if none of us, no retiree I've ever heard say, hey, we hope we need that long-term care insurance that we're paying for. So if they don't need it, they're leaving a tax-free legacy to the spouse, the kids, and whoever the beneficiaries may be. But if they do need it, they can kind of pull from that death benefit to help pay for some of those long-term care costs. So that's probably the most popular one we see.
How do you overcome this next statistic that Americans are leaving $24 billion in unclaimed 401k company matches on the table?
Well, the first thing, of course, is educating yourself and take advantage of the company match because, again, that's free money, whether it's 3%, 6%, no matter what the number is. And also, what we're going to talk about a little bit later on our strategy play is why you want to take a look at your 401k as that amount grows and separate it into two different buckets, what you've made and also what you could make. The other thing we'll talk a little bit about briefly on that is the in-service withdrawal, how to take control of your benefits so it's put you in control of your money, not your employer.
Well, and as you mentioned, the most important is at age 59 and a half, a lot of employees out there, they now have the ability to take control of that 401k of their money, and it's important to understand the options you have then.
All right, and the next two were the fact that 87% of baby boomers got a D grade on a retirement quiz, and also the fact that Americans, 56% are losing sleep when they think about retirement.
So number four, as we mentioned, do not be a know-it-all. Do not go through retirement alone. Of course, you want to make sure as you get closer to retirement that you have that guide, you have that retirement specialist to guide you every step of the way on this journey through retirement. Of course, number 5, 56% of Americans lose sleep when they think about retirement. The reason you're losing sleep is because you are not prepared, because you do not have a plan. So you want to make sure that you build that cohesive plan to give you peace of mind in retirement. And again, as I mentioned earlier, Wendy, you may have to do a little work on the front end to enjoy the ride and the journey on the back end.
It'll be worth it in the end.
Absolutely.
All right, to download our free white paper today about why objective financial advice is important, visit schlegelfinancial.com/empoweryou. When we come back on our strategy play, the Chads are going to show you ways to avoid some common retirement mistakes when it comes to your 401ks and retirement plans.
The number one concern of retirees today is outliving their hard-earned dollars. It is more important now than ever to educate and empower yourself to make better decisions with your money that it has taken you 30 to 40 years to accumulate. How do you do this? By using our Financial GPS, our guided planning system. This is a 4-step process to help get you successfully to and through retirement. The first step in this process is to create clarity. Here we will help identify your goals as well as your concerns and identify what you want to accomplish in retirement. The second step, we will analyze the risk you're taking with your current portfolio, and this step will also identify exactly what you are paying in fees. In the third step, we will evaluate and assess your current plan and help identify the gap between the missing pieces. And in the fourth and final step, this is where we will work together to implement a plan of action to accomplish your retirement goals. And this process can take place at any one of our convenient locations in Missouri and in Illinois. So call now to get set up on that right path on your journey through retirement. Welcome back to the Chad Schlegel Show, coaching you to and through retirement. On this week's strategy play, we're going to show you ways to avoid some common retirement mistakes when it comes to your 401k, retirements, and other company plans. And one of the biggest mistakes that we often see is as you get closer to retirement, say 1, 3, 5 years out, is the way that you're investing that 401k and that retirement plan. And what I'm talking about here is, let's say you have $1 million that make up your 401k or your retirement account, which is probably one of your largest assets today. And the problem is, what we find is you have to look at this money in 2 different buckets: what you've made and what you could make. In other words, if you have a $750,000 or a $500,000 or $1 million 401k, that's money you've made. You do not want to continue to take the same amount of risk with that money as opposed to the new money, Chad, that you're pumping in every pay period or every 2 weeks when you get paid.
Yeah, and I think, you know, if you look here at the example, you've got John and Mary, maybe 60 years of age, and we go back in time, 2008, they remember, you know, how that 401k probably dropped 30, 40% plus in that year. However, now fast forward to today, they're 10 years older, they're 60 years of age, they're looking at retirement in the face in the next 2 to 5 years, and they've built money back up. But all of a sudden, last year was down, last 3 months of the year, the last quarter was down pretty good. So now all of a sudden, if they don't change the way they're thinking about this money because to plan for retirement, you know, it could be a big mistake.
Down pretty good is right. Again, if you had money, $1 million in a 401k, the market dropped 15%, you would have lost $150,000 in that 401k. So again, do not take that same amount of risk. With that money that you've already made, you want to put that into a bucket where it's a little more conservative, where if the market has a 10, 15, 20% correction, you know it's corrected. Now, the new money that you're going to put in every pay period, you can afford to take a little more risk with that, because even if the market's going down, you're going to do what's called dollar cost averaging. You're buying in as the market goes down, so when it comes back up, you're going to have an even bigger gain. And one last thing we want to share you with is, if you're over 59 and a half, and you have a 401k or company plan, and you still plan on continuing to work another 2, 3, 4, or 5 years, you want to take advantage of what's called an in-service withdrawal, where you can go in and take some of that 401k, roll it over to an IRA, and now have, number one, where it puts you in control of your money, gives you a lot more investing options, gives you a lot more safe havens for that money, and of course, Chad, it can automatically be set up as a multi-generational IRA as well.
Yeah, and I think, as we talked about earlier in the show, it's about having a plan, being proactive, and building the game plan. So when you do go to retire in the next 2 to 5 years, you know where that income is going to come from. You know how much risk you're taking with your money, and you're in control of your retirement dollars.
Do you need help planning ahead for retirement? Do you need to add some protection to your retirement nest egg? If so, we encourage you to give us a call today, and that's this week's Strategy Play.
If you have any questions about today's show, or if you'd like for us to discuss a new topic, email us at askchad@slaglefinancial.com to have your questions answered on the show. We'll be right back with some of the key takeaways from today.
Your host, the coach, Chad Slagle, and join.
I'll be with you guys in just a few minutes.
When it comes to your health, your life, your family, your home, and your hard-earned dollars, of course you want to make sure you're working with that sharp, energetic, knowledgeable individual that is always looking out for your best interest.
On such short notice, appreciate it.
Thanks. It's time to get your financial house in order. This is the new age of retirement planning. In the Wall Street world, that's what they talk about. You got to have equity. Back into the Chad Slagle Show, coaching you to and through retirement. We are Slagle Financial. Call now, 888-294-9248.
Welcome back once again to the Chad Slagle Show, coaching you to and through retirement. We have covered a lot of ground today. What would you say are some of the key takeaways, Chad?
Number one, understand the importance of planning ahead for retirement. You know, do some planning now to enjoy the ride and the journey later. Number two, be aware of the retirement statistics that could impair your retirement. And of course, create strategies to be successful in retirement and to overcome those retirement statistics.
All right, to download our free white paper today about why objective financial advice is important, visit slaglefinancial.com/empoweryou. And more information for you, the Slagle Financial team has a series of educational events coming up in your area to make sure you are prepared for today's retirement. For more information and to sign up for one of these events, call 888-294-9248 or visit chadslagleshow.com.
Remember, folks, success is waking up in the morning, whoever you are, wherever you are, no matter how old or young you are, and bounding out of bed because there's something out there that you love to do, that you believe in, that you're good at, and you can hardly wait to get at it again today. At Slagle Financial, realize that this is bigger than our team. It's about educating you, the public, and our wonderful clients, and empowering you to make better decisions with your hard-earned dollars. For my colleague Chad Tobin, my co-host Wendy Erickson, this is the coach, Chad Slagle. Thank you very much for joining us. We look forward to visiting with each and every one of you next week.
Clothing for the Chad Slagle Show is provided by AL Custom Clothiers, a custom men's clothier that understands the value of offering our customers the best for less. ALCustomClothiers.com or 314-570-6000.